So good afternoon.
Hi, hello.
You're a member of Green Party, so yeah, and a deputy of Seimas.
Yes, my name is Linas Balsys. I'm a member of Lithuanian Parliament, and I'm also a chairman of Lithuanian Green Party. In the Parliament, I am vice chairman on the European Affairs Committee and member of the Environmental Protection Committee. So that's why.
Yesterday I was a witness for your action organized in commemoration of 30 years of Chernobyl tragedy, and so as I consider Lithuania nowadays have the same problem because Belarus set the nuclear plant, and what can you tell about the problem? What is the main point of it?
Well, the problem exactly is related with the same problem as it happened in Chernobyl 30 years ago, when we had this terrible tragedy of nuclear incident, a nuclear catastrophe in Ukraine. And yesterday, while doing this action with the zombie march towards the Belarusian embassy and a rock concert in the square at the government's office. So we wanted to show that there's no safe nuclear energy in this world yet. So, and we wanted, of course, to commemorate those victims who fought dead during the liquidation works of the catastrophe in Chernobyl. We have around 8,000 people from Lithuania who were forced by the Soviet militaries to go to Pripyat and to the Chernobyl power plant and to do the very dangerous works for their health and for their lives. So that's our problem. And another story which we wanted to point out with this action and zombie march toward the Belarusian embassy, we wanted to point out and attract attention of the society that we have another huge problem coming and emerging in Belarus, in Astravyets place, where the works on constructing of the new Belarusian or really Russian new nuclear power plant are going on full speed. They are going on full speed without proper communication with the neighboring countries, which is Lithuania and Poland. Belarus is recognized as a violator of the ESPO Convention and the Aarhus Conventions, as not communicating and not conducting properly as it is required by the international law, and not informing properly, not explaining, not answering the official questions of our official institutions. So that's a big problem, and we see the Astravyets Nuclear Power Plant as a big threat for the whole Europe. Because the scientific research done by the Austrian scientists show that the winds, which are dominating in this area, in the case of any emission of the radionuclides, so these contaminated masses of air, they would go exactly not only to Lithuania but to Sweden and to Germany and to Austria and to the half of the Western Europe. So that's why we think this is not pure Lithuanian concern. This must be a concern of the whole Europe, and that's why we brought a petition to the Belarusian embassy. Somehow, unfortunately, nobody opened up the door. Nobody wanted to meet me as an elected member of parliament. And even if before they were promising on phone, by the telephone conversation with my staff, that they will come out and will talk to us and will take this, petition, whatever. It means the small example how I, as a member of parliament, was treated by the Belarusian embassy, which represent the Belarusian state in this case. They showed a big disregard towards the Lithuanian concern and towards the Lithuanian state. Okay, now we in the European Union lifted up the sanctions to Mr. Lukashenko and his other, so to say, counterparts. Okay, I'm for the lifting of sanctions because this opens up the room for dialogue. I want a dialogue with Mr. Lukashenko and the other governmental officials. But this example, when we were ignored at the Belarusian embassy, actually shows that we want dialogue, but does Mr. Lukashenko want a dialogue? It's a big question mark nowadays.
And what kind of dialogue do you want and do you demand? Is it just a consideration, or Lithuania can make some also demands in this project or in this construction? What, in two words, can Lithuania exactly take consideration, or it's just like an advice?
Well, I mean, dialogue, it means starting from the keeping dialogue in the framework of the international treaties and agreements like Espoo Convention and Aarhus Convention. As I mentioned, you know, just dialogue on the official dialogue, that's also a very important dialogue, on properly behaving according to the treaties and agreements and informing us, answering our questions not like formally. They say, oh, we did answer everything. No, they didn't. I mean, we're not satisfied by these answers. So they're doing this. And another dialogue, we're inviting Belarus, we Greens inviting Belarus to start a dialogue on other sources of energy possibly developed in Belarus. Belarus is very rich in biomass. Belarus is very well suited for the wind energy and normally suited for the solar energy like Lithuania or the northern Germany. So, and we think that instead of building such a huge nuclear power plant, huge and dangerous, the energy demand, if there is such, we don't even know if it's really there is such a big energy demand in Belarus. Are they really developing some enormously energy-consuming industry or something? If they do, yes, we could, you know, start a dialogue involving them in the, for instance, biomass power plants building. We do it in Lithuania very successfully. 2/3 of our heating sector is already switched from the gas to the biomass. So there's no, so to say, problems why couldn't or shouldn't Belarus follow this way and build 1 or 2 or 3 or more, for instance, biomass power plants if they need electricity and heat. You know, the nuclear power plant doesn't produce heat; it only produces electricity, and the heat just goes, you know, like a waste. So that's type of dialogue we would like to have, you know, openly, frankly debating the energy situation in our district. And our district is not only Baltic states, you know, but our district is also, and Poland, it's Belarus too, and Kaliningrad area too. We all are neighbors, and we all should be, you know, very open, frank, and friendly. But so that's what I mean by dialogue, and we call on them to start this dialogue.
And what about there is such a point of view and a statement that Belarus want to sell this energy to Lithuania?
It's a speculation, or it's what you journalists say. I never heard, as a member of parliament, I asked our government representatives, the Minister of Energy, did anybody never asked or proposed or called you and asked if you would like to buy or we would like to sell, or no? So far it's just no contact. There was no contacts. We know that the project is going on. We know it from the official propaganda. We know it from the anti-nuclear opposition in Belarus. The official propaganda says it goes smoothly, nicely, wonderfully. We are on time. The opposition say that it doesn't go smoothly and nicely. There are cases of thievery of concrete and materials and everything. They're lagging behind the schedule and blah, 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 and so on. So, no, I don't think so that, first of all, I don't know if really Belarus or Belarusian authorities, if they really want to sell this electricity to not to us, or to the European Union. Because we, as Lithuania, we are already working in the electricity exchange system. We are fully integrated in the Nordic Nord Pool spot system. That's an electricity exchange. And it doesn't mean anymore that, you know, we have a power line from, like it used to be, from Ignalina nuclear power plant somewhere to Belarusian direct. And we just, you know, do the contract between the power plant and the factory in Belarus. No, that's not possible anymore. anybody, it's a private business, any company which, wants to trade in electricity, they may do that, and they may import electricity from anywhere. And now we are importing electricity from Belarus, from Russia, from Latvia, from Estonia, from Sweden. It's an open market. And it's not Belarus provides sells electricity. It's Lithuanian company which buys from somewhere and sells in Lithuania. It could be Belarusian electricity too. So, and then the question comes, the price, normally, traditionally, the price of any nuclear power plant, the kilowatt hour, is very expensive. It's very expensive. All the examples which I know of newly built nuclear power plants, like we have one in Turkey, I think, and we have one in the UK, the Hinkley Point, and they, according to all the, so to say, announcements, the price is no less than, I think, around 10 euro cents, no less. And this is very high price for the market. In our market, we're selling and buying for 3 euro cents. For 3 euro cents, 3 to 4 euro cents. In the very peak times, it could be 5 euro cents, but still twice as cheaper. So what does it mean? If Belarus, assuming that, we agree, if they build, if they produce, and somebody wants to buy the nuclear electricity, this electricity must be competitive on our market. Otherwise, who would, buy more expensive and sell it cheaper?
Yes, yes.
Just, if it's private business, nobody's so stupid. I don't know. It could be if Mr. Lukashenko or Mr. Putin, which really stands behind this project, it's Russian money. $10 billion are given by Mr. Putin to Mr. Lukashenko.
Directly. Yeah.
Directly. So if Mr. Putin or Mr. Lukashenko thinks that we have to dump the European market, and they may sell it, they may give it for free, maybe, I don't know. They may establish some Russian company in Lithuania or Latvia which would be granted a right to import for free. But then the question
like
of,
social.
but here then we talk already not about business relationship, we talk about the politics or maybe some kind of economic war. But then we say, no, if you do like this, we will find the ways not buying your electricity. If you do like this, if you are competitive, well, okay, we Greens are against any nuclear buying, but I mean, if any government decide to buy, but this must be on the competitive, so to say, grounds. There's no way doing it openly and business-like, no way to be competitive with your nuclear Belarusian electricity. And if it's, as I said, politics, we will find ways, to not go into any of these political games. If they will try to use, electricity as a political weapon. Another interesting topic is, which they may need, they didn't ask yet, but I can imagine knowing all these engineering and electrical, so to say, construction of the system. They may need the power reserve, because when the nuclear power plant works, it works and works all the time, producing the stable and the high level amount of electricity. For that, but the demand is jumping. It could be momentarily jumps, could be more jumps like in week jumps, monthly jumps, whatever. For that, they need a power reserve. It goes like this, to balance their power demand and production. So for the momentarily reserve, there is this grid, the big power grid, which the inheritance from the Soviet times. We, all Baltic states, are still in this post-Soviet grid, and so they will get this. It's okay. But for the secondary and third power reserve, they will need to have something else. This something else is in Lithuania.
Oh, I see.
What is it? It is the hydro accumulation power station, which it's a unique engineering construction. Initially it was built for our nuclear power plant, which is closed down now, but this device, this construction is still working. We use it. It works like, you pump up the water from the river Nemunas up onto the special kind of a pond, a reservoir. And when you have a lot of electricity, excessive production, you use it for pumping up. And then when you have a deficit of electricity, you just drain it down through the turbines, and you produce electricity like from the hydropower, from the water. This is kind of like a storage of the electricity when you don't need it, and you use it to produce electricity when you need it. So this was used for Ignalina's nuclear power plant as a balance for the power reserve. Since we still are in the same power grid, as I said, with Belarus, Russia and 3 Baltic states, they may want to use this hydro accumulation station for their needs. And here we will tell that, sorry, we cannot give it for you, because now we use it for the wind power balance. We store there our wind electricity which we produce in the increasing amounts. Or maybe for the solar in the future. So that's why I can tell openly to the camera that we will not give you our hydro accumulation facilities in Kronis, Mr. Lukashenko. No way. So, and then what will they do? I don't know. They may build the diesel power stations to balance this. I don't know what are they going to do. It's not my business. But if they think they will use Lithuanian, no, because of the reasons I said, and the other reasons, Lithuania, we have the confirmed political strategy where all parties agree, where European Union agrees as an important project. It means our disconnection from this Russian grid, as I said, from the Soviet times, and reconnection or connection to the continental European power grid. This will be a long project and expensive, but it's confirmed, and it's starting already being implemented step by step together with Poland and European Union member states. And it means when we are disconnected from this power grid, then with Belarus we will not have any more direct power links. We could only trade with them in electricity through the switches, but directly they will not be able to use our any facilities for their power station, nuclear power station reserve balance. So that's what's going to happen. I mean, so if they build, okay, they may build it, they may even finish it, they may not. But when they built it, I think they will have a lot of problems. They will have a lot of problems.
And the problem is, and it is still not solving. Is there any strict possibilities for example, European Commission in order to, in law enforcement, some field, in order to stress Belarus?
Really not. No. Unfortunately, no. As a Greenland may say, unfortunately not, because all the international conventions and the international international atomic energy agency, IAEA, all these agreements say that any country is independent to build nuclear facilities. These facilities must be safe, and the International Atomic Agency, they are, so to say, doing this approval of every newly built station. So no one can forbid for no single independent country to build anything on their own territory, except, as I said, all these conventions and international agreements on informing, answering our questions, doing the environmental impact study and presenting it to us, and being in the dialogue and not violating our interests. International energy agreements actually say that no one country can create a damage for another country. So that's why we cannot so easily go from this Russian power grid. We will have to be in the tough negotiations, maybe pay some compensations for Belarus and Russia, but equally, they building the nuclear power plant, which may be not safe, they also have no right to do damage for us. But there's no kind of a direct enforcement or sanctions or penalties for Belarus if they build it. No. We can demand it to be safe. We can create a political pressure. Yes, that's what we're trying now to do. I was, calling openly on to our president when she goes to Brussels, and when she speaks to Angela Merkel, to François Hollande, to other leaders, please tell them I know really that not all of them even know about such a project, which is dangerous for their country, like Germany. So now they know, slowly, but maybe step by step, the awareness is increasing. So what we want to do to create a political pressure, like, Mr. Lukashenko, if you want to be good friends, with European Union countries, if you want to get some support from European Union countries, like financial, including different programs, Eastern Partnership is very important for us, but for Belarus too. So maybe we can negotiate that, you freeze, you stop this project and try to do something else. We understand if they really need electricity, we understand this. I'm not against building industry in Belarus. I'm against using this type of electricity to feed industry. So maybe we can try it another way. So let's stop it. Let's wait for maybe new technologies coming. Let's look for other ways how we can help you with our knowledge. For instance, we in Lithuania have very knowledgeable, very high skills in biomass production, incineration systems and all this, production of biomass, whatever. We could easily do the joint projects,
And this money for Russia could be invested in...
Money from Russia could be invested in much better things, But for that we need a dialogue, as I said. And we went to Belarusian embassy and we said, no, nobody's home, Sunday.
And as Angela Merkel, she officially said that it is now a word for International Atomic Energy Agency in order to say is it safe or not, and the director of this agency said it is safe.
Of course. This agency, this IAEA, it was created for promoting nuclear energy, not for stopping it and closing it. It was for promoting. Of course, they will. I don't know any single case when the IAEA, the agency, they would tell that, oh, this is newly built plant is, we don't give a certificate. No, even in Fukushima, where now we know that it was clearly wrong design because they used fuel above, on the 7th floor, and then the reactor collapsed. It was one trouble. The second trouble was the fuel just dropped down and hit, the bottom. That was the biggest, but that was design problem, not tsunami problem. That was human mistake to design such a layout of engineering construction. And the agency said, it's fine, it's okay. So, and this nuclear reactor in Belarus, it's an experimental Russian reactor. I'm not aware of anyone already working. I think one is already built in Vilnius somewhere, but I'm not sure. But the second is under the construction in St. Petersburg, I think somewhere else in this Leningrad, former Leningrad district, and this is going to be the third one. But no one is working. No one. We don't know. What are the drawbacks of it? Where are the weak places? They say they did these so-called European stress tests, but we're not convinced by them. We're not convinced that they can withstand the hit of the airplane. One of the stress tests, can you withstand the hit of the airplane? We're not convinced by this. They don't plan to build the sarcophagus around the reactor. So it's very dangerous, and so that's why we are so concerned about it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is it possible?